Yo, it's your boy KaneTown Raider back again with another episode of the KaneTown Breakdown. If anybody who's coming in who's new to the channel, please don't make it your last time here. Hit that smack that like button, subscribe. Let's get the KaneTown Breakdown up to 100 subscribers. Today, we're gonna cover. We're a little late to the party, I know, but we're going to cover the farewell message that Derek Carr left for the nation. Kind of discuss how we feel, kind of break it down, and then we'll probably hit on the offseason a little bit, the draft, free agency, and then see where we go from there. So right now, I'm gonna bring in my guy, Raiders Primos. What's up, bro?
What's going on, KaneTown?
Oh, not much, man. Just enjoying a day off here on this Sunday.
Yeah. It sucks because, we would love to be in the playoff, enjoying our boys, watching our boys play. But I think, I don't know if you watched the Ziegler press conference that he had this past week. We earn the right to be, we don't like it, but we earn the right to be at home watching the teams chase after the dream of winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we sure as hell did that.
Yeah.
You catch the games yesterday?
I seen the ass whooping the Niners laid on the Seahawks. You thought the Seahawks were going to, maybe keep it tight at halftime, but the Niners, that's what the Niners, we can hate on them, but they're doing one thing that great teams, I would love the Raiders to do. Keep scoring until the final seconds, and
exactly.
You just, don't let up. Those games out. That's what great teams do. They know how to finish games. It doesn't matter how you start. It matters how you finish. And with that being said, bro, Trevor Lawrence, and I don't know if it was the Chargers choking or it was the Jaguars just having – everything was going great, but man,
talk about a tale of two halves.
Yeah. We had our fair share of tale of two halves this season.
Oh yeah,
but yeah,
they didn't end as beautifully as Trevor Lawrence's second half, though. Most of the time.
Yeah. I would have loved that. But man, if that's the way the playoffs are gonna be, just like a preview of what's to come, bro, I'm glad. I'm a football fan at the end of the day, and when the Raiders are not playing, I'm a football fan. I love watching football. I'm here for it.
Absolutely. What we got today? We got the Dolphins and the Bills right now. Did you catch the score on that right now? Last time I saw it was the Bills are starting to maybe pull away a little bit.
I think they did start. But Miami scored a touchdown, I believe.
And they got the ball.
Yeah, they scored a touchdown. Yeah, they on their own. That Skylar Thompson, I think they drafted him. I don't know what round. His stats are not that great. He has 181 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. But hey, they're still in the game. I said, it doesn't matter how you start. What matters is how you finish. Can he go out there and finish and
if he goes
Super
out
Bowl favorite? That would be crazy.
Be nuts. If he goes out and gets the dub today, you might get Tua back next week too. So the Dolphins could be very alive.
Yeah. That would be, I'm rooting hard for the Buffalo Bills, but they're another team that they can get, they could pull away and you're thinking, oh man, when are they going to pull away? But they're also that team that they can let leads go. We've seen it. They were up 14-0, I believe, against the Dolphins, and they let that lead slide, and they were up 34-24.
It was 17-0.
They let this lead slide. Yeah. And they let, they're a team that they can either be very, great, or they can be, playing down to their opponent.
Facts. So yeah, as we spoke on earlier, our team isn't playing anymore, but we are very much in the news as of late. Um, Derek Carr, it is official. He is going to be out of here. He finally broke his silence, and the other day he dropped his farewell letter to the nation. What did you kind of gather from that? How did you feel? So a lot of people feel like he took some small little shots in that. What do you think?
I think, I feel like it's a tweet that needed to go out, mostly for the Kardashians out there. They needed this type of closure and like actual like reality. Like, he's not going to be here. I don't think he took any shots at the Raiders organization. I will say a little bit in his tweet, he said he wished he would have done this in person. Like, I was like, you could have, because, doing the research, the organization couldn't tie your hands behind your back and say you couldn't be here.
No.
Like,
He had
you
to agree
agreed
to
not be here. Yeah, you agreed on not being there. So you had the choice to come to the presser, to have the media, and to tell us fans straight from you instead of a tweet that, hey, it was, it's not working. I'm not gonna play here no more. That Steelers game, that was my last game that I was playing as a Raider. You could have told us that, but you didn't. Right. You decided to go home and not be with your team. And for me, it's like they could say he got done dirty. They could say that, oh, why did they bench him? But at the end of the day, Derek Carr had the choice to be there or not, and he chose to not be there with his teammates and not be there with his team. And for me, like, that's the lowest of low. I haven't played football. I don't know how tight the bond is, but I played baseball. I played soccer. I played numerous sports where the grind that you go through as a team, only you guys know the practice, the hours that you guys put in just to get ready for game day. I mean, we heard Derek Carr at the podium talking about that there's a lot of guys that go through a lot just to go out there, bust their tail during practice, just to sleep at night. Like, we heard him. And for him to say that and then to go home because he got benched, like, for me, you're not backing your word up. Because if that bond is such a tight, that's hypocritical to me. Because, like, you say that at your presser after what loss was it? What was it? The Indianapolis loss that he had that at the podium?
Yeah, I believe so.
Where he was calling like players out. It's like he does that, and then he, So for me, that was kind of hypocritical. But I get it. You've been here for 9 years. You thought you were the guy, and it's clear you're not the guy anymore. I get it. You're in your emotions. You need some time away. You don't want to be a distraction. I get that. But when it came time to talk to Raider Nation, to us fans, you had all the opportunity in the world to. It didn't have to be.
Yeah, bro. He could have done it. He could have done a video, anything. He could have addressed the nation, face to face. He could have done a video. That's the same as going on and doing a press conference on camera.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Another thing. Oh, shout out to Van City that popped up. But another thing came, and then he started talking about. Thank you for the memories, even though we had bad memories. Like, I'm gonna always remember the game-winning drives. And for me, what stuck out to that, I'm like, bro, this is like the leader of the Carr cult, literally. Because when we talk to Kardashians, I'm sorry, I'm about to fire
exactly the shit they bring up.
That's exactly the shit they bring up. Is the game-winning drives, winning drives. What I care about is a Super Bowl championship. If you won us a Super Bowl championship, I would be okay. Like, man, it's time to move on. But hey, thank you for giving us a ring. Why am I gonna be like, hey, thank you for the game-winning drives? Are you boys?
You got little weasel bitches. Sounds like you're talking about little weasel.
Hopefully, it's the last time. Yeah. Hopefully, it's the last time that we have to bring. But
Man City off the top rope.
Don't get me wrong. I would like. Were those amazing memories of those game-winning drives, thrilling moments? Of course. But where did it get us? It still got us not in the playoffs. It still got us at home, sitting on our asses, watching other teams, like I said, chase after their dream of potentially winning a Super Bowl. Like the fucking Jaguars, really. Like, I wanted to sting you that your division rivals, the Chargers and the Chiefs, are in the playoffs and you're not. I want it to sting that the Chiefs literally did a ring around the Rosie play on you. Like, it needs to sting, not just for Derek Carr, for the entire Raiders organization. It needs to sting on them. So
yeah,
like
absolutely.
that's sidetracking, but that's what I'm saying. That's score sidetracking to the organization. We'll get into that, of course, because we talked about it. But
right.
For me, the game-winning drives, that's the only thing he really like highlighted. I'm like, yeah, thank you for the game-winning drives. Shout out to you. I wish you the best, just not when you play against us. But hey, whatever, team is gonna pay you hella money and or whether it's trade or free agency, I just wish him the best. But when he plays against us, I hope we freaking Max Crosby just makes this man curl up in a ball like he always does.
Oh man, yeah, I felt like there was a shot taken at the coaching staff when he was saying, I said I would rather retire than not be a Raider. But I didn't know it would end like this. I think that's kind of taking a shot at how the coaching staff and the organization handled things. Because it ended like what? Like you didn't think it was going to end like you getting, at being asked or requested to sit out, or you requesting to sit out, or you losing your starting job when you felt like you shouldn't. Like, bro, that's not your call. If you lose the starting job, you show up for work and you help out the backup, the guy that's making the start that week. He's talked about all he's ever talked about is being there for his teammates and, being a good leader and, all that. And then it was time to really show, because what a good leader would do is even in times where he's, maybe he doesn't agree that he should have been benched, but motherfucker, you still need to be there for your squad.
Yeah. And the thing is, I want to ask Raider fans this. They cannot tell me they didn't not kill Ryan Tannehill for being that way from Malik Willis. I don't know if you remember that report coming out that Ryan Tannehill was like, it's not my job to help the backup. I remember going on Facebook and seeing these Raider fans saying, oh, Ryan Tannehill is a bad teammate. Ryan Tannehill is a bad leader. But when it comes to our quarterback not helping our backup, oh, Derek Carr could do whatever he wants. Or Derek Carr, I would not help him either. Like the way the Raiders did me, I would go home too. Like, what makes Derek Carr different than these other NFL players? Like, at the end of the day, you got your emotions hurt. Like our brother Wasted, he said at the end of the day, he got his emotions hurt. His ego got a little hurt, and he took his sorry ass home.
Absolutely. It's just sad to see, because a lot of people respect Carr for the man he is. And I think this is probably the first time in 10 years that he's been with us where we're sitting here saying, damn, we might have lost some respect for the man you are rather than the football player you are.
Oh yeah. And that's the thing. I always loved Derek Carr. I said it on my show. I said it on your show. I love Derek Carr as the man. As a quarterback, I think he needs to go somewhere else. But yeah, now looking like after the situation, after everything, not even just him going home after being benched, letting your brother call the Raiders organization out, letting your cousins post subliminal messages on IG, and then you want to come out on a tweet breaking up with Raider Nation. Basically, I like the way someone said it in a chat. We got broken up with over a text. Bro, like the way he handled this situation, I did lose a little respect for him. But I still, at the end of the day, hey, go make your money. God bless you and your family. I hope you guys have a wonderful life. But I hope you sign to the Jets so you could come to Allegiant next year. And if he signs with the Jets, bro, I'm booking my football ticket already for Raiders versus Jets, because I will be at that game in a heartbeat. I would be at that game because I gotta get the atmosphere. I gotta be there.
Oh yeah, the day Derek Carr comes back to Allegiant in a different uniform, man, that's gonna be a moment.
Oh yeah, like definitely, man.
Van City says, yeah, bro, 14-year-old girls do that, Derek. Are you a 14-year-old girl? I wonder if he cried about it. Yo, I really don't know who hates Derek Carr more between Van City and Rick Grimes. I really don't know.
For real. I bet I'm surprised Rick Grimes isn't having a field day with all this, But he seems he was right though from the beginning. I try to give Carr the benefit of the doubt, but it seems he was right.
I think Carr deserved the benefit of the doubt for about 6-7 years, and then it started to get real fucking old. The last few years, it's like you play like shit, and then everybody's like, get him out of here, and then he plays all right. He plays really good. Everybody's like, okay, maybe he can stick around. He's starting to get it, and then it goes to shit again. He always just keeps pulling you back in. And after the what was it? I forget which game. It was one of the losses, and I posted and I said, man, I don't give a fuck what he does after this. I'm not getting pulled back in. I'm done with this motherfucker.
Mm-hmm. And he's like that. I mean, and then there's this narrative getting put around that that Derek Carr don't help the Raiders out, that like trade wise, because he wouldn't want the Raiders to get draft capital, and basically his new team would give up draft. These Carr fans are now just speaking with their minds and their emotions. It's like you guys got to actually dive deep into this. If Derek Carr gets cut from the Raiders, there's no way he's going to get a $40 million contract in free agency. Will he be a top player in free agency? He probably will, but no one's going to pay unless they're really, really desperate. I was thinking the Colts were going to do it. They backed out of interest for Derek. But if a team is very, very desperate that they're going to pay Derek Carr $40 million, I mean,
yeah,
so I think, them. But I'm not paying Carr $40 million per year.
Right. I think it's going to be a team that is not complete dog shit. It's going to be a team that's pretty good, that is just a quarterback away. And they're like, fuck these picks. We're not going to go out and get a rookie quarterback because we're trying to win now, not in 2 years. And I think that's going to be the team that gives up the most draft capital. So when you say the Jets, I think you're pretty close to spot on, because you put Derek Carr on that Jets team this year, and I think they're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because he's a whole hell of a lot better than Zach Wilson.
Let's not ignore. Yeah, he is. Derek Carr is better than Zach Wilson. I will say that. And the thing is, they can go to the playoffs. They got a really good defense. They got Garrett Wilson, a good young wide receiver. Breece Hall, before his injury, I think he had a chance to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, in my opinion.
Very possible.
Before he got injured, he was killing it for me on fantasy. I'm going based on fantasy stats here. He was killing it. So it's like you said, the Jets for me have a really solid team all around, and they can only get better. Now the thing is, if Derek Carr plays the way he did with the Raiders, that's for me where it's going to come down to. How does Derek Carr play? Is a new scenery going to be the best for him? Maybe.
Yeah.
But
Van City's over here providing. He's over here providing the segue here into the draft. He says, "Whoa! Pump the brakes, Primos. If CJ Stroud doesn't declare for the draft by tomorrow, he won't come out till 24. That changes everything, and Crybaby's stock skyrockets." He's got a point. He's got a fair point.
It definitely does. Going into the draft, I mean, what do you think we're going to get for Derek? Talking draft wise, like what do you see if we do trade him? What is some draft capital we can get? Some people say first round. I think minimum we get second round.
I think if you get into the I'll take a first rounder. I will take a second rounder. I will not take up one pick past that. If it goes to the third rounder, we better be talking about multiple picks. I'm talking about if you want to give me a third rounder, I want 3 third rounders. I want 2 third rounders and a 4th rounder. We're going to get into like Christian McCaffrey type of trade where they gave up 5-6 picks.
For real.
Because
I was just talking with my friend real quick. The Niners, bro, they put themselves in draft capital hell.
Same with the Rams.
Yeah, they better work. And that's the thing. I'm like, hey, if we could rob someone of picks, I'm here for it.
I believe so. If we get a first round pick, I believe we fleeced that team.
Yeah.
But yeah, so moving on from Derek Carr, I think this is probably the last conversation I'm going to have directly about him until he's moved to another team. Aside from that, now, moving talk, we kind of already transitioned into the draft talk. What are you thinking for our first round pick as of right now?
I still say defense. I know we were talking about quarterbacks, but Somehow I'm seeing on a lot of mock drafts, somehow Jalen Carter falling to 7. If he does fall to 7th overall, which I don't see it, especially I feel like we got to see what the Bears do. The Bears have a lot of question marks because I could see them getting Jalen Carter at number 1 and really building that defense up again. But there's reports that, whatever new regime comes in, they can get rid of Justin Fields and maybe go quarterback. So I feel like the Bears are really going to determine how this draft goes. So if they go Jalen Carter, then I feel like you got to go the next defensive tackle that's left on the board, or you just go with the edge. But a lot of people want to stay away from Brian Brees. I see a lot of like Miles Murphy, Brian Brees. A lot of people do want to stay from Brian Brees. I got to do my homework on Brian Brees to see like what are the cons. But for me, we got to fix the interior defensive tackle. You really got to build that defense from the inside out. It's either you get a DT or you get an edge. And for me, that's either Jalen Carter or Miles Murphy.
You don't want to go linebacker or corner?
I wouldn't be mad at it. I think we just need I would rather help our defensive line out to get pressure at the quarterback. But if we go get it like maybe a top corner in the draft, I wouldn't be mad at it because the thing is at the end of the day, our defense needs help, like major help. So if we get a linebacker, corner, defense, I mean, I will be happy as long as it's defense. I know a lot of people wants to go get an offensive tackle or offensive guard. If we do that, I feel like you just shit the bed at the 7th overall pick. If he turns out to be, a stud, okay, that's good. But we need defense. Like that's the thing. We need defense.
The thing is it seems so certain, and all nations seem so certain that Tom Brady's coming, that if he comes, we once again don't have a quarterback who can run. And in that case, I could definitely see us taking the best tackle on the board.
I'm glad you said it. I was going to tie into. Yeah, and I was going to tie into that too. Like it's hard because we haven't seen the free agent period either. It really depends what we do in the free agency period. If we get Tom Brady, then I can see us going to get an offensive tackle with the 7th pick. And let's say we get a Daron Payne. Like we don't sign Tom Brady, but we get a Daron Payne, or okay, you kind of fill that defensive tackle spot. You could go get a linebacker or a corner in the draft. So it's really a lot of pick and choose, but we won't know until we can't really come to okay, this is like a certain position that we are going to tackle based off what we do in the free agency period. Because we get Tom Brady, I could see us trying to really build that offensive line and giving Brady time.
Absolutely. And I think you really have to. I think bringing in Brady, man, we could see a lot of free agency money and a lot of picks going into the offensive line. We're going to need depth and we're going to need top-level starters. If Brady starts getting smacked, man, that is an old man to be getting hit a lot. So you got to protect him. Another one I was saying, and a lot of people when they see him in mock drafts and stuff, I see a lot of people getting mad. Miles Murphy, guy can do it all. He can rush the passer, he can stop the run, but he's not really a scheme fit on our edge, and nor can he play in the middle on the interior. But I do see him as a phenomenal 3-4 DE, and I think he might not be as bad of a pick as everybody thinks, but I think his production might not be what everybody's looking for from our first rounder in terms of stats, in terms of everything on paper. But I think he could make a big difference on our interior line.
Yeah. I was gonna say in the draft, would you trade back if you're Ziegler, if you could get more picks? Like maybe trade back, and if Miles Murphy's the guy, you're like, let's say Jalen Carter's already taken, and it's like, okay, we're gonna go get the next best guy, which is Miles Murphy on our board. You think he would fall back and you would trade back to get more picks in hopes that Murphy will fall?
I don't think Murphy falls. I think Murphy is going to fit a lot of team schemes, and I think he goes in the top 10. If we're trading back, I think we're going to look towards a corner. We'll look at a Cam Smith or a Joey Porter Jr. At that point, or maybe even a Christian Gonzalez. I don't think there's any top end safeties that are going to go in the top 15 picks. It looks like Antonio Johnson even fell out of the first round for most mock drafts. So, I mean, maybe a Brian Branch, someone like that. But yeah, I think if we trade out of the top 10, I think we're going secondary.
All right. Yeah, I hope. I mean, like I said, I wouldn't be mad about it. Like I said, our defense is needing help. I really do like Cam Smith. I think we need a corner. We need a CB1. I think Cam Smith can come in and really fill that CB1 spot. You put Rockinson as a CB2, and then you have Nate Hobbs as working the slot. I think you can really have a dangerous second. Hopefully we can get Deron Harmon back. I really believe that having Deron Harmon as that leader in the secondary, that really is going to go a long way.
Yo, they're having fun in the chat right now. I think these two are creating a friendly rivalry. Whatchamacallit? But yeah,
Anthony
I also
only one. Anthony is only one.
I really want to grab Greedy Williams in free agency. I really feel like he still has a chance to be a number one level corner. And he's long, he's lanky, he's a good man. I think that gives you 3 solid corners at the top of your depth chart, and then you have Amik Robertson and Tyler Hall. And I think that rounds out your corners.
No, I agree with you. There's something that was pulling, I've been wanting Greedy Williams since he was coming out in the draft. When was it? I think 2017, 2018?
It might have been 19.
Really off. It might 18. Have been 19.
It would have been 18. Coming out he would have played his 4th year this year, and then I don't think they're picking up his 5th-year option, so I think that's how he hits free agency. So I think 18, yeah.
Yeah, they don't have his market value yet. I'm checking Spot Track, but only 25 years old. He's a young guy. I think he's a guy that was just on a bad team. I mean, he went into a situation where I believe they had Denzel Ward as the corner there. He was already the top guy. Greedy Williams came in really just automatically being a depth piece. But at LSU, I think I loved his game at LSU, and I was hoping the Raiders would draft him. When the Browns drafted him, I was so upset. I was like really pulling for the Raiders to draft him. But we could come and get him in the free agency. So I'm really hoping we can somehow find a way to get Greedy Williams here. And I feel like he'll come in cheap too.
Yeah. Another thing I'm hoping to pick up in free agency, I want a solid wide receiver too. I like Mac, but I don't think he's quite there. I think he's definitely a high-end wide receiver 3. And not including Hunter Renfrow. I consider slot to be almost a whole different position. We're talking about wideouts. And I really want to get some speed at that. I'm talking about some 4.3 speed. Mecole Hardman would be amazing at that spot across from Devontae. What do you think about that?
I would like that. I would really like that. Mecole Hart. I mean, I think him and Tyreek Hill, they were like the 1-2 punch on the Kansas City offense. And it seems that, when Hill left, Mecole Hardman's, I'm going to have to like really look at his stats, but I mean, just going based off what I'm seeing, and it might just be Kansas City's offense because they use everybody. They use everybody. They use all the players. When they got Looney? I don't know how to say his last name. Kayvon Looney. I don't know. I don't know that wide receiver, but they use. They use everybody.
Talking about Kadarius Toney.
Mecole Hardman's number. Kadarius Toney. I don't know. I call him like Tooney or something like that.
They have somebody named Tooney on the offensive line too. That's the funny thing.
Oh. So it's like they use everybody, and I think Mecole Hardman, his numbers kind of drop, but you just pair him up with Devontae Adams and Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller. Like the thing is, there's so much attention that this offense can get, and hopefully Waller and Renfrow can be healthy next season, because the attention that Devontae is going to be getting, I mean, he's the best wide receiver in the league, or either top 3, maybe top 2. He's going to be getting double coverages, triple coverages, and you put Mecole Hardman 1-on-1 with their corner. I mean, that speed, just have him go do a fade route down the sideline, or just a post route. Like that speed is going to kill.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think about Nelson Aguilar bringing Nelson back?
I'm 50-50 on it. I wouldn't mind overall. I just want someone. I really want somebody who, because I feel like Nelson Aguilar starting to get a little older. He's not over the hill, nothing like that. But that 4.3 speed he had is going to turn into 4.4 speed, then 4.5 speed. And so when I'm talking about, I really want someone with some speed. I want elite speed on the outside. If Nelson can still get out there and be that, great. If not, I really would like to go on another route.
Yeah.
Yo, no, you guys in the chat, fucking chill. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Let's chill out, guys. I was thinking now, based off the season, Marvin. I mean, he's up there in age too. He's gonna be 33. I mean, he had a decent season with Jacksonville. Having 46 catches for 529 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, it's another team that Trevor Lawrence utilizes all their players. I don't know how he is on speed wise, but as a wide receiver too, I feel like he could really be that, a good wide receiver too. But I agree. I think we need speed because of all the attention that, Devontae is going to get, other guys are going to get. If you have someone who could just like wiggle out and automatically get on one-on-one coverage, and really it's just speed versus speed, I feel like that would help the play calling a lot.
Yeah.
I was saying, like, bro, I mean, I'm not saying he needs to be a wide receiver too, but bro, can DJ Turner get some more playing time? Because that boy got speed.
Yeah, he does, and I like him on the trick plays. I like if you want to run an end around, don't run it with Davante Adams, where everybody's attention is on Davante Adams every single play. Yeah. They watch 2 guys. They watch Josh Jacobs. They watch Davante Adams. So if you got Davante Adams doing anything out of character, they're gonna hone in on it and they're gonna see it. You bring DJ Turner in there for that type of thing, and he's a smaller guy, and I feel like that it just plays into his abilities more than it does someone like Davante Adams. I really like DJ Turner a lot, and I really wish we would utilize him more. I don't see him, obviously I don't see him as like a top end wideout, but the dude's a football player. You know what I mean? He can do a lot of different things for you. He's like a poor man's Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. I mean, because I think, what was it? We ran like 5 end arounds. We ran like 5 or 6 end arounds with him, and they worked. They went for like, I believe his lowest carry was maybe like 8-7 yards, but he's had like 10 plus yards, and maybe getting to like 20 was the max. And I was like, bro, Josh McDaniels, stick to what's working. Like I would go back to that, I would probably egg on that narrative that Josh McDaniels, his play calling is a little bit questionable at times. It is. And that's what I would hope. I mean, we're talking speed here. Utilize DJ Turner, but of course, I feel like Nelson Aguilar and then McCole Hardman, those are the 2 wideouts I think you try to go out and get. McCole Hardman is my priority, though. I would bring McCole Hardman back or try to get him in as a priority just to be that wide receiver 2. He's proved he could be the wide receiver 2. Nelson also, but like you said, Nelson's getting up there in age. McCole Hardman's younger. So, I mean, and I feel like he'll also come in on a cheap deal. He wouldn't be asking for top wide receiver money.
I think you get McCole Hardman for about $10 million. And another dude that I would like is MVS, another dude from Kansas City. Valdez-Scantling's a free agent after this year.
Oh, really? I thought they signed him to like 2 years. I'll be. I know another guy, another former. I was like, you pair him up with Devontae. I mean, they're already teammates. They know each other. You won't have these wide receivers crashing into each other anymore. Hopefully, hopefully you wouldn't be having that. So, I mean, I'm all for bringing MVS in here. And the thing is, like I said, if we do get Tom Brady makes anyone look good. So all they got to do is catch the ball. Like, really, that's all they got to do is catch the ball. Another guy that I was eyeing, he's from Green Bay. What's his name? Lazard. Is Lazard a free agent?
Lazard. Yes, he is.
Yeah, Alan Lazard. I was thinking, hey, maybe even look at him. Look at Lazard.
Yeah.
If Green Bay doesn't.
Yeah, you're not getting that top end speed, but you're getting a dude who's big, physical, and can go up and get the ball.
Yeah. That's what I'm
Absolutely.
all for.
I
I mean,
definitely wouldn't mind having him
if
either.
you could get, yeah, and I think just them having that chemistry with Devontae, that plays a lot part, like route running, or
Right.
especially if you
They ain't gonna
stack
be
them,
running into each other.
like, together. You start you do that together, and I'm like, hey, they can. I just don't want to see wide receivers crashing into each other anymore. Like that's all I.
Yeah.
That's all I
Oh
want.
man.
And I feel like we've had that too much this season. If you could get because they have that chemistry, I mean, who's to say they don't pull whoever a quarterback is, Tom Brady, Jarrett Stidham, whoever, and they'd be like, hey, we're doing these routes to try to throw off the defense, and it's because they got that connection. Like, oh, Devontae likes to do this, Lazard or MV, whoever it is, likes to do this. I'm not saying he can't. Of course, Devontae can't do that with any others, but I mean, what this season showed me is the lack of like communication between the receiving room with Renfro, with Devontae, with Hunt. Like we seen even with Keelan Cole when he was in there. Like I said, there was a lot of routes just running into each other. And I know a lot of people try to throw that on Josh McDaniels, but I don't throw that on Josh McDaniels. I throw
That's
that
chemistry
on
that's got to be
guys
built on the field.
Yeah, that's chemistry. Yeah, that's chemistry. That's the receivers not knowing each other. It's not like I think when people think of chemistry, they automatically think quarterback to wide receiver, quarterback to tight end, quarterback. Like it's not always the quarterback. Like the wide receiver room, there's a reason why they work out together. There's a reason why the offensive line they work out together. There's a reason why the running backs work out together. Like they all have to be on the same page. And route running, like there's route. I think what I noticed with Josh McDaniel's scheme is he draws up routes to get one guy open, but everyone. I mean, we heard this before. I know a lot of people don't like us calling we're the Patriot West, but everyone has to do their job. If you're running the route, fuck somebody else up. Like Renfro, if you ran your route correctly, Devontae open, and we beat KC possibly. Keelan Cole, if you don't run over the middle, Foster Moreau, I think it's against Indianapolis, I think, where Keelan Cole and Foster Moreau, I think, got mixed up. And if Keelan Cole's not there, Foster has a catch and run for maybe 30 plus yards. So it's a lot of stuff like that I feel they got to get up.
You mentioned Foster Moreau. That's another guy I wanted to talk about. Do you think we bring him back, and do you think he wants to resign with us, and knowing that he's not going to be the number one tight end, or do you think he leaves to look for somewhere to be the number one tight end? And if we do not bring him back, is there anybody in free agency or the draft that you've looked at that you would like to bring in his place?
It depends if that's rumor that Gronk is going to sign with Brady. Because that's another thing I'm hearing about. Like, I'm speculating Brady coming to the Raiders. Reason why it's the hot topic right now that Brady is going to the Raiders, but I'm also hearing he might go to Miami. But hypothetically speaking, let's say Brady comes and Gronk comes with him. Just hypothetically speaking, I think Foster tries free agency because he's not a tight end 3. Would it be nice to keep him? I mean, you got Gronk, Waller, Foster Moreau. That would be an amazing tight end room. Yeah, that would be an insane tight end room. But Foster Moreau's not. I think at this point in his career, Foster Moreau knows his worth, and he knows he has the potential to be a tight end 1. So he will test free agency. Now, if Gronk doesn't come here, I think Foster stays. I think having that connection with Darren Waller, and who's to say Foster's like, hey, Darren Waller can't stay healthy, so I'm automatically gonna get squeezed in the wide receiver tight end 1 room. So I think Foster stays if Gronk doesn't come here because Darren Waller's job is not secured because of his injuries. He was injured last season and he was injured 6 games, I think, in 2021. So I think if I'm Foster, I'm looking at it like, oh, that tight end 1 position could be mine in a heartbeat just because Darren Waller cannot stay healthy. So it really depends. Can Darren Waller stay healthy? Yeah, I feel like Foster Moreau was the tight end 1 this entire season. So I think Moreau comes back now. It depends what the Raiders offer him because I think the money's gonna talk. So if they're not offering him like close to maybe I would say $9 million, maybe like on just a little raise, not nothing crazy, maybe cheaper. What is he earning right now? Give me
He's
like an
still on
idea.
his rookie. He's
I
still
don't know
on
how
his
much
rookie
he's right now.
deal. He's still on his rookie deal, so he can't be much more over like $2 million.
Oh, then three. I would say three. I'm thinking Darren Waller money, like when he was.
Yeah, I would say
his
three.
cheap
I would
deals.
say $3 to $5 million for Foster Moreau. What I'd be willing to pay.
Give him. I would say give him a 3. I would say 3-year, like $9 million contract, $3 million per year, just a little raise as a tight end too, and see what he can do. Because I think if Darren Waller can't stay healthy next season, and you don't have Foster Moreau in the tight end room, I feel like your tight end room is just complete shit. I mean, for me, I haven't looked at, to answer your other question, I haven't looked at any tight ends in the draft or in free agency, just because I don't know what's going to go on with that room. If Foster leaves, we definitely got to go get somebody, because Foster, I feel, really held up that tight end room with Waller being out.
Yeah, and in Josh McDaniel's system, he does like to use a lot of multiple tight end sets. So especially for his offense, that's a big important position that we need to have some bodies and some quality bodies, some guys that can go out there, catch the ball, make some blocks. You can't just have an average Joe out there, that can't do anything.
Yeah, and that's why I like Foster. I mean, I think he, like you said, he fits the scheme that Josh McDaniels likes to run. It's not that Foster won't get playing time, even with Darren Waller being healthy. Because even with Waller being healthy, there are going to be a lot of 2 tight end sets that Josh McDaniels runs. So he's still going to get his playing time. But then, like I said, if he squeezed into a tight end 3 role, he's not going to get playing time. And I just think Foster knows his worth at this point.
Yeah, he's too good to be a tight end 3 for sure.
Yeah.
We're
looking at offensive line.
What
are you looking at offensive line?
Offensive line, I really like. So say we get Brady and we are going to go with an offensive lineman. I feel like anything aside from Peter Skoronski, if he's on the board, is a fail. Ola Fashanu, I like him, but I think Skoronski is a generational talent at tackle. And I think that I also think that one of those guys can end up being the number 1 pick in Chicago. Also, I think that's something that's not
protect field.
Yeah, he needs to, because otherwise he's just going to be running the whole game.
He ran over 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only reason he ran
at some point he just said, "Fuck," he's like, "I'm running all the time."
Yeah. I mean, hey, he's a big body. I'm looking at him right now, 6'4", 294 pounds. I think, you get him on that right. You got now. What are you doing with Colton Miller? Like, because I'm hearing, there's, maybe some people want Colton Miller to go over to the right side and then maybe draft someone to go to the left side. Me personally, I don't like that. I think Colton Miller's 4 years deep running the left side. I think you keep him there, and then you just go get a rookie tackle, and then put him into the right tackle position.
Yeah, I feel like
where are you going first, tackle or guard? I was gonna say that. Where are you going first, tackle or guard?
If we decide to go offensive line in round, if we're going to go offensive lineman in round 1, then I feel like you go tackle. If we're talking about second, third, or fourth round, I could see us going guard, because we don't have to go tackle at all. Realistically,
I was like, are you good with Jermaine Illuminor at the right side? I mean, I like
Munford. I'm good. That's what I was about to say. I'm more good with Munford, but I do like having Jermaine Illuminor as a backup.
All right. I think that's the one thing I did not like of Josh McDaniels was taking Munford out, like when he would start him or have him playing. Like, he's a rookie. He's gonna, miss some blocks. He's not gonna pick up a lot of blitz packages, but let the guy learn. Don't be playing with his emotions right now. Like, let him, grow as the games go on. Because I mean, I think it was against Houston. I mean, Munford's run blocking. Like when that game that Josh Jacobs had a big day, I think it was like 3 touchdowns he had. Munford was an animal in the run blocking. I really like what I seen out of Munford, and from that Houston game, I was really high on Munford. I was like, I want to see more of him. I want to see what more can Munford do on that right side.
Absolutely. I feel like there's a lot of upside with Munford. I feel like maybe you start the season with Illuminor starting, but once you make that switch, stick with it.
Yeah.
Mumford goes out, has 2 good games, and then has a rough game. You don't just take him out. Let him play through the ups and downs, and let him get a rhythm. And you might have a cemented starting NFL caliber right tackle. In that case, boom, you didn't have to waste a draft pick. You didn't have to go out and waste a bunch of money, and you got a guy on a rookie deal who can be your right tackle for the next few years. I think guard is definitely the bigger need. We have to go out and get an interior guard. We definitely we're good with Parham, but I'm not good with any other guard that we currently have on our line. You definitely need to go out and get someone who can who's at least an average guard, someone who can just shoulder their load and do their job and keep their heads above water. Well, you don't need to go out. You don't need to get an all pro. If you can get one, beautiful. But you don't need that. You just need someone who can keep their head above water, not commit stupid penalties, and not get killed in the pass rush. As far as the draft, I've seen a few guys I really like. As far as free agency, there's guys I believe someone like Nate Davis is available. And then there's a couple other ones. I don't have my notes right here in front of me, but I've seen some solid guys that I really do like. And if we just go out and grab one, I don't want to go out and spend $12 million on a guard, but you can go out and give someone $6 to $8 million. You can get yourself a top, near a top end guard.
Yeah, I mean, after seeing that game against Kansas City of Chris Jones just absolutely wrecking the game, and I know a lot of people would be like, "Oh, Parham's not a true guard. Like, you need to move, at least have him take over as the center position." I'm like, no, I like Andre James at center. Keep Parham at a guard. He's a rookie. He's gonna. I said it. Said the same thing with Mumford. He's gonna have growing pains, but he can only get better. That's the only thing they did with Parham. That bright spot. They let him play through his mistakes, and he's just gonna learn from it. He's gonna learn from it. They didn't let Mumford do that, and for me, I feel like that was a really, really downgrade on Mumford's or on the coaching staff's part to do that to Mumford, because I feel like you could have solidified that right side, because I feel like that right side has always been a need, and you could have got it with Parham and Mumford locking down that right side, and then you would only need a left guard, because that's really, I think, the specific need is the left.
Yeah. Also, I believe we really, if we're gonna go offensive line in the first round, there's only a couple guys. Are you good with there's Broderick Jones, there's Olaf Schön and Peter Skoronski, and there's like maybe one or two others that I've seen mocked in the first rounds. Do you have a kind of who you'd be okay with taking, and like guys like get him the fuck away from us?
I haven't really looked at our offensive line prospects, because I've been more focusing on defense. But the more I'm seeing mock drafts come out, the more I'm seeing us taking an offensive lineman. I think Peter Skoronski, the guy that you mentioned, he's been linked to us a lot of times. They had him linked to the Tennessee Titans, but that's of course because they're mocking us getting Miles Murphy or Jalen Carter, like going defense or quarterback. But if we don't go either of those routes, he possibly could fall to us because of our offensive line position. But I likely would either do that, or I would I would stick with Peter Skoronski, because like you said, offensive tackle first and then going guard maybe second, third round. I would like us to go guard free agency and then get depth pieces like in the later rounds, like fourth or fifth round. And then if we go offensive line in the first, I like Peter Skoronski. Also Paris Johnson Jr. He's 6'6", 315 pounds. That's a tall man. That is a mammoth on the outside. If you can get that and have him, I mean, we seen Trent Brown, what he did to Khalil Mack. If you have a mammoth on the right side to handle Khalil Mack, handle Joey Bosa, and just like that, he just pushes them out the way, your right side is covered. Because I'm going based off what we did in 2016, which was our last offensive, like probably great offensive line. Those were mammoths up front, from the tackles position to the guards to the center. They were big boys just mauling people. If you could do that in the draft and get some big boys and get the best offensive line on the board, go grab them. Especially if you got Brady here. Like we said, especially if you got Brady here, you need to protect Brady.
Do you watch Sanjeet?
Look here and there. I know he has some film work on some prospects.
Yeah, so Sanjeet, if you guys don't know, you need to go follow Sanjeet. Dude is very knowledgeable when it comes to breaking down film and the draft and all that. He actually, you had mentioned Paris Johnson Jr., and Sanjeet was saying that he doesn't think Paris Johnson Jr. is even a first-round tackle. I was kind of surprised by that. Yeah, because he had seen some mock drafts he was talking about that had Paris Johnson as the number 1 rated tackle, and he was just like, that is absolutely ridiculous. I haven't watched a ton of Paris Johnson, but
yeah, I'm gonna have to go see that video. And I mean, if that's the case, I'm like, hey, if he falls in the draft, hey, second round pick. I mean, I wouldn't be mad. I would
not be mad about getting him in the second. Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be, because like I said, it's all gonna come down for me. I said, I was talking to another Raider fan. I said, when it comes to the draft, you never know what pick is going to be a hit and miss. Even the top prospects could be a hit or a miss.
Right.
What comes down to is coaching for me. It comes down to coaching. And can Josh McDaniels, can the entire coaching staff, can they coach up these young bucks? That's what it's going to come down to. And for right now, I know, and once it was something I heard on ESPN, and it rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know if you watch Speak. I think that is the podcast called Speak by Emmanuel Alcho, and then that one lady that's there, I don't know her name, but she said that this coaching staff, they don't trust this coaching staff. Like, what do they have to do? What do they do to prove us or prove they're right? Like, they know what they're doing. I get it. 6-11 doesn't look good, but what proves to me that they know what they're doing is they have a plan in motion. The plan was to build this offensive up last season. Now they're going to go get a quarterback, and they're going to build this defense and build an offensive line. That's why I trust this coaching staff to coach up a young tackle that maybe fell in the draft, or a lot of these young bucks. I trust them. Hopefully I don't eat my words, but I trust this coaching staff to do the work with these young guys.
Yeah, I believe, contrary to popular belief, there's a lot of hate on Josh McDaniels, but I believe this coaching staff as a whole, I really do believe they have an opportunity to create a really good product out on the field. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I definitely haven't lost hope on this coaching staff after one season. Absolutely not. And you saw towards the end of the year when that offense started to, get to rolling, McDaniel's system's great. At times, can his play calling be questionable? Sure. But for the most part, that system is dynamite. And even with all the struggles we had this year, we were, I think, 11th in total offense. Yeah. So, I mean, if you're having all these struggles.
I believe we were in almost every game, too, as an offense. We were in, I believe,
except one.
16 or 15 out of the except 15 out of the 17 games. Like, we were in almost all of it. Maybe the thing is, that's what I'm saying. I trust Josh McDaniels and the coaching staff. I think they're going to get it right this next season.
Yeah, I do too. I think, and at least, if we fall short of the playoffs, and we're 9-8, 10-7, and we just barely miss, you're still seeing a lot of progress. I expect us to be in the playoffs next year, but as a realistic person, I do understand that shit happens, and you can go 10-7, you can deserve the playoffs and not get there. So we get close. If we're it's the last week of the season and we're one game out, but we're moving in the right direction. You see a plan unfolding, and then you get another offseason under your belt and add even more, and then you could be one of those teams that jumps from just outside the playoffs or barely making the playoffs to a Super Bowl contender in one season. Look at Philly this year. Philly wasn't even in the playoffs, and they're fucking steamrolling everybody. So it don't take long. You can have a long, drawn-out process, but sometimes you see that magical offseason come together where, you all of a sudden go from 7-8 wins to 13, and you're in there. So I think that's very possible here. I think it's just we got to nail the quarterback position if we want that kind of progress in one season. If we can hit a home run on the quarterback position, whether it's Brady or whether we just find that one rookie who takes off his rookie year, I believe that we can do that. We got to put a lot of money into the defense, and that defense has to produce. But you get the right quarterback, I don't think they need to produce as much. If we can hold teams to 21 points a game, where we would have been what, 12-5?
Yeah, I think we held the defense held like 20. I think the opponents to 23 points on no 25. I think it was like 25 points.
And
but there's a lot of games where they're holding. Yeah, but you gotta. The thing is that average. I remember. I don't know if it was Van City. Someone told me. The scoring gets skewed with that because we also had Arizona Cardinals like a pick. They had it like a pick. The pick fumble that they scored on. That goes against the defense. That so there's a lot of scoring that I had to do. I believe it was. I said 23 because I actually broke it down statistically wise to take away those points, and it was like 22 points. And it's like, see, the defense, were they getting beat on a lot of big plays? Yes. Were they not getting sacks? Yes, they were not. Were they not getting turnovers? They were not. But the thing is, they were holding teams to like 23 points or fewer. And you're telling me we can't score more than 3 touchdowns at least? Like that's the problem on the offensive side.
I don't see a scenario where you bring in Brady and you have Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs and a serviceable offensive line and you're not putting up at least 28 points a game.
Oh, yeah. And the thing is, that's all. Imagine if that's all you did is you put up 28 points. You score 4 touchdowns. Like that, you're winning multiple games last season.
Right. Van City, I would attack free agency offensive line first. If you can fill out that offensive line in the free agency, that allows you even more to hit the draft and go defense. Because as of right now, when you were going into the draft, I see at least 2 picks that have to go on the offensive line. If you can cover that in free agency, then that opens you up more to take, the best defensive player on the board more often. And maybe you can even slide and grab a receiver on the offensive side of the ball. Or something else. Maybe you cut Andre James, who's making $5 million, and you just want to save that money. Maybe you go out and grab a center. It gives you more ability to go out and draft for what you want instead of what you need all the time. And a lot of mistakes that a lot of NFL teams make is they reach for their needs, and that's something we have fallen victim to a ton in the past. So the more we're able to go in and fill in free agency, the more we're able to draft for kind of the system we want, the guys we were like, hey, this dude would be perfect here, instead of just trying to fill out the roster with in reaching. And that's what I don't want to do.
I hear I think I would defense. I would go try to see what you can get with Deron Payne. I would at least do this, get leaders on that defense of the ball. Not saying you got to use all the money in free agency or just focus on defense, like get hella defensive tackles, hecka linebackers, hella secondary. Like, no, maybe get one solidified leader, like a Deron Payne that can be that leader for the defensive line, the front 7, and then maybe go get one corner, a serviceable corner, like a Greedy Williams on a cheap deal. And then for me, and then you go get, some offensive line help. Because the thing is, I think Ziegler's walking into this that I don't really have to overdo free agency. I have 13 draft picks to work with in this upcoming draft. I have a lot of draft capital to work with, and I might even get more depending if I trade Derek Carr. So I don't think – I think for us, we have to be ready for Ziegler not to really go all out in free agency. Now, will he make some splashes? Maybe. He might make some splashes, but I don't think he's going to go – all out in free agency. But for me, I would attack defense, and then I would go offensive line if you can. Go get some guards. Like I would say, just like what Van City said, don't rely on 10 rookies on the defense. Don't rely on rookies in the offensive line either. Like for me, that's like me personally.
Yeah. All right. So I think on that note, we're gonna call the show. I got some stuff I got to do. I got to go get my lady from work. She's on a half shift today, so I got to get her before she whoops my ass for being late. So we want to end here. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you to Primos for coming on. He's definitely someone you're going to see in a lot of my lives, and you'll see me jumping over on his channel. That's my guy right there. And we're definitely going to have a good off season worth of content for you. If this was your first time in here, or you just been in here before and haven't done it yet, please do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe. We're going to try to build this thing up, and I hope everybody has a good rest of your weekend. Enjoy them playoff games. We out.